Welcome back. Recently I've actually been trying to make an attempt to be less egotistical, but that's completely besides the point of the episode. Today I'm gonna be talking about a game in which all the characters worship me as their god.
The PSP has always sat in a weird spot for me. PlayStation consoles usually do. Maybe one or two games I actually play on them at all. If my PS3 attempts to play anything but Little Big Planet at this point, I think it's gonna explode. The PSP sat for a very, very long time as a system I literally just played Little Big Planet on, and that game isn't gonna hook me forever, so that thing just sat for a while doing absolutely nothing. Well, that was before I got into and started playing the Patapon games, what I'd consider to be the only reason you should own a PSP.
Look, let's just pretend the series hasn't been remastered. Twice.
Patapon released in 2007, being developed by Pyramid and Japan Studio. The Patapons themselves actually originate from earlier than 2007, being created by French artist Rolito. I bring this up because I just think his artwork looks neat. I suggest you look him up. Oh yeah, Patapon. This game is what I would describe as a rhythm strategy game. You have your many little Patapon characters down there that are commanded through 4 inputs that must be put into the beat. 4 inputs corresponding to 4 face buttons corresponding to 4 drums. Square is pata, circle is pon, triangle is chaka, and cross is don. So, for example, the march or forward command is pata 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 pon, or square 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 circle. That's basically the main gameplay loop. Give Patapons commands, then fight your way to the ultimate goal of the game, Earth End.
That being the literal end of the earth, by the way, there's no metaphors here.
Why do they need to get there exactly? Who knows. This game also has RPG elements, and of course what that actually means is numbers and stats.
Look, all I need now is letters, and I can finally have Algebra the video game.
You can buff up your Patapon units with armor, weapons, whatever, but where it becomes actually interesting is with the Rarepon system. See, the way you create Patapons is through giving some items to this Tree of Life. Depending on what items you give, your units can come up as special Patapons, which have greater strength, just general different stats depending on the form. The problem, it's not at all clear that you can do this to begin with. While I don't think it should just be explicitly stated how it works and what you can get, that ruins the fun, I at least think it should be a nudge in the right direction. I didn't even find out they existed until 3/4 of the way through my original playthrough. If I were to have known earlier, I probably would have had a much easier time with this game, but even with Rarepons, the difficulty is quite high. It's mostly down to the rhythm itself, which is really, really strict. If you can get a rhythm of 10 or as early as 3 if you have perfect timing, your units will go into fever mode. AKA, if you aren't in fever mode, you're as good as dead. Patapons can't do anything when you're not in fever, so just hope you don't lose it at all.
Yeah, except for the small fact that it's really, 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 really difficult.
As I said, the rhythm is strict. Just go a bit off beat and fever is completely gone. And if you've not got perfect rhythm, chances are you're gonna take a while to get back into fever mode.
Overall, yeah, the game has a lot of challenge, but it's really rewarding to watch your army become stronger over the course of the game's story. Oh yeah, this game has a story. See, unlike most people who talk about video games, I'm recapping the story after talking about the gameplay and my feelings on it. That makes me better.
The gist of it is that you are the Patapon's god, their almighty. In the past, the Patapon army was unstoppable with you as its leader, but now their god has left and the army was crushed by the Zigoton army. You can tell they're evil because they're red. Of course, now you've come back, or else this game wouldn't be very long. Their god will once again rise them back to power, defeat the Zigotons, and guide the tribe to Earth End.
Like I said before, I have no idea what is there and why they want to get there. The game is pretty intentionally vague about it, but as far as they express, it seems to just sort of be the Patapon version of heaven.
The Patapons go about fighting monsters, Zigotons. A couple of times you run into the Zigoton General, Gong. He can make tornadoes. He tells of a prophecy that says, should the Patapons rise again, then we're all done for. But I don't particularly care, so on we go! The Patapon army goes on to destroy Love or something. Right before going into the desert, you see these 2 Zigotons blocking your way. These are Makaton and Iton. Destroying the tower, Iton dies and Makaton gets away. vowing to destroy the Patapons for this. The reason I say they're lovers is for two main reasons. Number one, Iton is a combination of the Japanese word I and the ton from Zigoton. I translates to love, making him technically Love-ton. 2. Given what Makaton goes on to do in Maiton's honor, I refuse to believe they were just buddies, pals, amigos, hell, chums. We continue to fight forward, eventually killing General Gong, and thus, in a very reasonable reaction, the Queen Zigoton sells all their souls to the devil. Separately, Makaton sells his soul to a devil in order to become strong and kill all the Patapons. Now called Scorpiton, he has a cool hat.
The Patapons kill him!
Of course, afterwards the Patapons kill the Zigoton Queen, followed by the very devil the Zigotons were selling all their souls to.
So yeah, finally, after all that war, fighting, destruction, and death, the Patapons finally make it to— That's just the sun!
Yeah, as it turns out, we aren't actually done. After that disappointment, the Patapons decide that Earthman must actually be across the sea. So, with the help of what Zigotons were left, the Patapons and Zigotons built a boat to actually go to Earthend this time. Oh yeah, and the Queen didn't actually die? I was lying. Don't believe a word I say, except do when I tell you this game is good.
So yeah, end of Patapon. Though I did miss quite a bit, that was very, very, very abridged. I missed the part where Priestess Meden got kidnapped and it was the hardest part in the game. Oh yeah, I also missed Priestess Meden.
She is the priestess of the Patapon tribe and is the only Patapon who can directly talk to you. She also says papaya every time you hover over her, and it is very funny.
Okay, I brought up Priestess Meden. I kinda thought I had more to say about this game, so if you'll excuse it, I'm gonna bring up some random assorted thoughts I have about it.
I forgot to mention this earlier, but Patapons have classes. We'll probably go more in depth with them if or when I do cover Patapon 2, as I actually use them at all in that game. I never once felt it necessary to use anything other than the basic Patapons. The spear, axe, shield, and bow ones.
Yeah, I'm really not too keen on the way the magic-y stuff is handled in this game.
Miracles are magic things, primarily used to make it rain so you can cross the desert. Though I don't like this mechanic at all because it completely ruins the flow. When activated, it breaks your fever, making gameplay more difficult when you get back to it after the minigame you're forced to play. Completely stops the song and regular gameplay as a whole. I really think this could have either been reworked or just flat out removed.
Oh, and on the topic of minigames, this game is swimming in them.
They're all nothing crazy, just more traditional rhythm games with a small prize at the end, usually materials. My favorite of these was probably the cooking one with the pot. I don't like the plant though, it's too picky. I could be 1/100th of a second off on the timing, and it's treated like I might as well have never pressed a button. Also, the jumping at the end is just impossible in my eyes to do on purpose. Anytime I did manage that, it felt like pure luck.
The rest of the minigames are nothing to write home about, just sort of average, but they're nice to have around.
Oh yeah, and with the chef one, you get the ability to make this game really, really easy, like way easier.
So yeah, Patapon. Got remastered? Twice? One of them sucked.